This is actually a Ferrari V12 engine. Now, it's not really a desk toy, it's actually full size. Every intake runner, every casting mark, every bolt hole. It's the F140 out of an 812 Superfast, the same engine that powered the Enzo. 789 horsepower, the most powerful naturally aspirated production engine in the world when it launched. But this one weighs about 40 pounds because we 3D printed it. So here's the backstory. StanceWorks, Mike Burrows and his crew, they're building an F40 Evolution. It's basically a custom tube chassis wearing F40 bodywork with that V12 going at the heart of it, which means they're fabricating everything around this engine model. The engine mounts, the intake, the independent throttle bodies, the headers, all the custom exhaust routing and plumbing and all that stuff. Now, here's the thing. It's a little more difficult to hang a six-figure Ferrari engine inside of a tube chassis while you're fabricating around it. And so this just makes that whole process a little bit easier and gives them a cool model to hang up in the office when they're done. So they went ahead and scanned the engine, sent us that scan, and we 3D printed it. Now, here at Vision Miner, we actually help businesses get industrial 3D printing into their shop. It's what we do all day, every day, mostly for Peak and Ultim. But the 22 IDEX, with its heated chamber, also excels at other materials like ABS, ASA, nylon, or polycarbonate. Now, these are materials that can be printed on other machines, but when you start getting into the large size of parts, then you get all kinds of warping and your build plate gets torn off and all sorts of bad stuff happens. But when you have a heated chamber like in the 22, then you can actually print huge parts like this very consistently. When they first sent the scan, there was a good bit of cleanup that we had to do. I forget which scanner they're actually using. It's one of the hobby grade machines, but there was a lot of cleanup and everything to do, which I actually just did in the Shining 3D software. It was pretty easy to go around. I maybe spent 20 minutes or so just cutting out sections, cutting away the table that they scanned it on, and then filling some holes and getting all the files more print ready. And then we actually sent that over to one of our CAD guys and had him chop it into nice even sections that could be placed on the build plate and then assembled down the road. Now, we 3D printed it in ABS mainly because ABS is just super available and super cheap, and it prints great in the heated chamber of the 22 without much issue. So we could sort of show off the large size prints without any warping and all of that, and just the production capability of the machine without spending too much money and without worrying about the printing process too much. Now, if you wanted to do this in something like Ultim, that is when you would need a bigger, hotter machine and a lot bigger pocketbook, because the expense of that amount of filament would be absolutely insane. So I think we have about 40 odd pounds here. That's about 20 or so spools, which at $10 to $15 a spool for ABS ends up being, what's the math on that? Say 15 bucks a spool times 25 spools. We're looking at about maybe $300 worth of filament and a lot more machine time, because each of these prints did take anywhere from 12 to 24 to maybe even 30 something hours just based on the size. Now, when the guys were printing it, they did end up going lower and lower and lower in the infill and using different types of infill, like adaptive infill, so that only the top areas and areas that needed extra infill for overhangs and top layers would actually use that. So it's kind of funny because some of the parts here are very, very heavy, and then some of them, like this one, are very, very light. So at the end of the day, we've got a ton of huge parts together, and you don't necessarily need to use something like epoxy. Frankly, liquid nails or even hot glue will get the job done. So one of the cool little features the guys integrated into this was actually the metal pinholes. Now, in practice, you wouldn't need metal pins. We just had a bunch of pins laying around, and you could just print those. But that allows these to easily snap together, and boom, it's perfectly fitted. Now, you really don't need to do that, but makes life a lot easier. So we're gonna go ahead and just assemble this thing, and we can use the trusted hot glue gun for this entire process, shall we? All right, let's do it. I gotta save as many pins as we can because I lost the rest of the pins. Woo! This is the world's biggest jigsaw puzzle. Actually, I wonder if there's gotta be a record for that. Does that go right there? I think so. I think that goes there, yeah. Oh, you wanna go grab the MAPP gas? Thank you, sir. Why isn't it working? What's going on? There we go. Now, ABS is well known for its shrinkage factors, and so some of these holes, excuse me, did in fact shrink and will not fit the dowel pins. So that's the downside of using something like ABS, is you still have to deal with the warping and shrinking of the material, but it fits into the manufacturing process. So what I'm gonna do instead is get a different pair of pliers, hit it with some MAPP gas, and actually melt it into the part. All right, so I got some channel locks now, and I'm just gonna heat this up and stick it in. That should do the trick. More heat. There we go. Like that. Oh, look at that. All right, all right. Ooh. Did I hot glue these two parts together? You know, this is really a shout out to Cole. Always use hot glue because you can undo your work if you mess it up. Yep, there we go. Cole was the master of hot glue in this office for many years. Hey. What's a Visualizer video without some fire? This is gonna be a great montage. Ow. Oh, shit. Do you want to jump in and just help? Because this one went in at an angle. The top edge of this keeps this from slotting in perfectly. So it's almost like we might need to take this one back apart. So it's like that as opposed to being, yeah. Yeah, this whole thing. You want to see if this vapor smooths? Forgot this is ABS.
Yeah.
That did not vapor smooth it, no. All right, this one was epoxy together for sure. Yeah, that's going there. This one is going here. And it's pretty close, but the holes are definitely off.
All right.
And then that goes right there.
Rotates.
Yeah, all right, so that whole mother goes together. Boom, and that's a head. All right. Have to do it again to melt it into that one. Oh my gosh. So we just use no pins?
Yeah, I guess not.
Let's see if I can. Glad we didn't invite Mike for the assembly.
Yeah. That would have been interesting.
I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Wait, test fit.
Oh yeah. Oh, is there a pin?
Oh,
yeah,
there's
a pin there.
Yeah, the pins are a great idea with more iteration.
Yeah.
What's next?
Should we just build the bottom part and then attach the top too?
Guess.
So like this should probably go the other side of that.
Oh yeah. Does that have a flat area?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. All right, we should probably let it cool for like 5 minutes before we flip it. Last part. Slides nicely. Nice. There's a huge fucking gap there. Jesus. Oh, so you're probably gonna want to do
Probably on.
so mostly on the big one on that, the extra big one on that. Dude, comes in handing here. Holding dude's neck down. Okay. Well. Okay. Here we can see we have the top. This is pretty cool. Now, in today's episode, we're showing how to do bodywork in ABS on an engine. Because Vision Miner. Okay, so this is the fun part. This one we might want to use some pins.
Just because of how the parts are, if we do pins on one panel, that will probably line up properly. Because if we try to do like one on this panel, one on this panel, because we already have a gap here,
Oh yeah.
it probably won't line up. Maybe it does, I don't know. So if we do like one panel, I think it'll be okay.
Here.
My vote is the middle panel.
Yeah, it's probably the best. Does it? Does this go this way or the other way? Oh,
Yeah, that way.
oh, oh,
So does it magically
oh,
line up?
dude, it's slotted.
Oh, okay.
That felt great.
Great.
We should throw another one in there. I mean, but they're barely sticking out, so it's sort of like. Yeah, but it's like sticking up, so we'll take that one out. All right. Well, I mean, we can just send it. It fits. Oh. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, hot glue.
Yeah, let's do it.
Other side. Ugh.
All right.
Might want to just epoxy all the seams now.
Yeah.
Haha! We have a V12. Naturally aspirated. There you go. There you have it. That is more like it. That is a Ferrari V12 engine. I love it. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. Now, go to StanceWorks YouTube channel and start following their project with the F40 build. It is absolutely nuts what they're doing, but you'll see this thing in there. And thanks for reaching out, Mike. This is not our normal type of project, but we took it on, and yeah, here we are. Sweet. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a positive rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next video.